I just want to say that it's good to be good. It is good to be good. Why? Because when you're good, you don't have to worry about watching your back. You don't have to worry about who you done wrong. You don't have to worry about any of those things. Why? Because let me put it like this. When you win, right? And you cheated or, you know, you didn't earn it, you always got to watch your back. You got to worry about somebody taking it. You got to worry about somebody stealing it. You got to worry about somebody coming in and trying to do whatever. Get it. You have to worry about that when you do good and win as well. But when you do bad and win, it's a different feeling than when you do good and then you win. Because when you do good and you win, you make the people that supported you, you get all the love from them and you get the respect from the people that said you wouldn't make it. You get respect from the people that said you wouldn't be where you ended up because they couldn't foresee the same outcome or a winning outcome or a winning scenario the way you're moving because they have only seen that winning scenario from people that move opposite of the way that you're moving. So when you're moving good and you're moving righteous and you're speaking UV dreadful and you're not, you know, using God in vain and using spirituality in vain just to get a couple likes and clicks on the internet and a couple of dollars in the check in the mail, when you don't use that in vain, it feels a lot more it feels a lot more like this metaphysical shit is real. It feels a lot more like what you're doing in life has meaning. It feels a lot more like you're protected. It feels a lot more like you're actually somebody is actually looking out for you, even if, you know, I just had a couple bad days and I was going off at the mouth. I wasn't on here going off at the mouth, but I was in my prayers going off at the mouth. And then recently, not even 24 hours, I prayed again. But when I prayed again, I meant every word that I said. I say what I mean and I mean what I say. And when I prayed, instantly I was blessed. Instantly, because when I prayed, I didn't think how I was going to be blessed. I didn't think how the spoils were going to come in. I didn't think how today was even going to play out. I just, you know, went on like it was another day, but it was a new version of me. And I had more than I did yesterday in terms of spirituality, self love, self respect, knowing my worth, and all the above. So I didn't know how today was going to go. And it started out with blessings. It's continuing with blessings. I'm keeping my frequency high. I'm keeping my spirits high. I'm not, you know, going back down the same alleys and roadways that I've been before. I'm taking my road least traveled. Fucking gnats. I'm taking my road least traveled. What's up? What's up? Hit that like button when y'all come in. Hit the like button for your boy, right? We talking about how good it is to be good because when you're good, you win big. You win bigger than big. You win bigger than you ever thought because you win the respect of the people that didn't see you making it. You win the love of the people that supported you when you didn't see you making it. So you're not just doing it for you, but when you win and you win big because you're good and you stay good, even if you make a couple mistakes, you're not a bad person. Good people make mistakes all the time. Bad people make mistakes every time and on purpose. Good people make mistakes by accident, and bad people make mistakes all the time on purpose. But when you're good and you stay good Even if you're not right up here, in here, or in your soul, you could be out of alignment, but you're not you're not deflecting all of that negative, all of that negativity, all that misalignment and all that misandry and all that manipulation on anybody else. You're keeping that stuff within and you're doing your internal work. So when you do your internal work, the universe sees it. God sees it. Your angels see it. Even when you don't see it, because I didn't see it. I honestly didn't see it. And then it happened just from speaking, just from using my weapon for good, which is my voice. Me using my voice for a good cause gives me good results. Me using my voice for good gives me good results. Me using my voice for bad gives me bad results. It ain't no trade off. It ain't no quid pro quo. It's simple like that. You get what you give. So it's going to be a lot of negativity now coming because I'm even on here speaking about being good. It's going to be even more negativity now because I'm speaking about how I'm winning from being good and doing good. I'm an inspiration. So I'm going to continue to inspire. I aspire, my aspiration is to inspire. My aspiration is inspiration. I learned that from my old friend in school, right? She said I aspire to inspire. And I took it and I ran with it, right? Because if you're not inspiring, then you're worthless. If you're not aspiring to better, you're doing worse. If you don't try to be better, you're inadvertently trying to be worse. If you don't plan to win, you're inadvertently planning to fail. And another one of my friends, before I started making music, he said, before you even write your songs, you got to mean what you say and say what you mean. I mean what I say and I say what I mean. That's why I'm careful of the people that I speak to. And when I do speak to people, the way that I speak to people is very thought out, it's premeditated. But I don't take away from people's experience. I listen and then I listen and I understand. And if solutions is needed, solutions is coming from me. Solution is coming from my hand. So it's good to be good. People used to say it's so good to be bad because, when they did whatever they did, they got away with it, or they thought they got away with it. So it became one of the famous quotes. It's so good to be bad. When you see a villain in a comic series on Cartoon Network or on Marvel, they will always be like, "It's so good to be bad," and they will glorify it. They will be driving in the best fancy looking cars. Money gonna be flying out the trunk. They're gonna be all fly, decorated, jewels and all that, running from the police. But they won't show you the things that they have to do in order to keep that lifestyle up, or the people that allowed them to do what they're doing that they eventually end up owing. Because if there's one thing I know, is that if you do something and somebody can benefit from what you're doing for them, they're only going to keep you around as long as you're beneficial to them. And when you no longer become a benefit, the status quo changes and it don't change in your favor. And this is a national treasure. You got to keep the status quo changing in your favor. How you keep the status quo changing in your favor? You got to be good. You got to be good for goodness sake. You got to be good for goodness sake. And it's going to be good to be good. And it's going to pay off. Because when you're good, it's going to pay off bigger than when you're not good and you think it's going to pay off. Because there are such things called loan sharks. There's something called the Mandela effect. There's something called honeypotting. And there's something called manipulating. I used to always go for the shiny things. Sometimes I still tend to go for the shiny things, but I don't go for those shiny things with ignorance. I don't go after shiny things with ignorance. I go after, shiny things that I feel like would have value to me, not to have as a status or a symbol status. I don't go after shiny things for the fact that it's a status, right? The sun shines every day and I'm always chasing the sun. The stars shine every day, but we don't see them until the darkness falls. And I chase them all the time, right? I can't decorate myself with stars. So we put on diamonds and jewels and all that shit and drive fancy cars so we can look like what we're ultimately trying to be. But when you realize that you already are the star, I am already the sun. That's why I'm attracted to shiny things because we come from kings and queens, right? My bloodline is crazy. I got kings and queens and Michael Jordan rings. I go stupido, sucio. I'm so filthy, y'all can't kill me. I've been inoculated from the snakes and the fakes and the corny handshakes. We've been made it. We've been descended from kings. But you can't go in the courtroom and talk that talk because the courtroom knows that true spirituality overrules any type of religion that this physical world runs on. But you can't go in the courtroom and talk about that spiritual talk. You can't go in the courtroom and say, yo, this spiritual shit really worked. You get your ass put in the hole, never to be found again. No matter if you're innocent or not. Look at what they did to Rashad. Look at what they did to the master teacher, right? Shout out to phase one, right? Look at what they did. It don't matter if they're innocent. They talking that spiritual shit. This spiritual shit really worked. Oh yeah, we gonna put you in a hole because you got a million people following you, and they ain't going with the get along. They ain't following the they ain't following the script. They going off script. Like I said, told y'all before in the previous podcast that I uploaded, going off script is the new script. Breaking the fourth wall of your reality, doing things that you would never, that you wouldn't usually do, doing things that you was afraid of doing before, but if you did it, you would get the outcome that you're afraid to even acknowledge, or you're afraid to embrace, or you're afraid to be, right? You would become that person. You would become that better version of yourself that you wish that you was yesterday. All you got to do is break that fourth wall. You got to do some crazy shit. You got to do something outlandish that you would normally not do, right? If you normally pour the milk before you put the cereal, now you got to put the cereal and then pour the milk. Shit. You might have to go. If you never grilled or you never cooked outside, you might have to go and get you a barbecue pit and barbecue outside and let the neighbors see you and feel that nervousness, feel all that emotion run over you. Like, oh my God, people watching me. Oh, they see me cooking. And then boom, you're gonna see somebody else bring out their barbecue pit. They're gonna be like, they're gonna wave at you. You probably gonna wave back. If you don't wave back as you're awkward or you're socially awkward or whatever, the next time you go outside or you start grilling, you might wave at them first, and then they're gonna wave back at you, and then y'all gonna be grilling at the same time. And now the third house gonna be grilling too, just because you decided to break the fourth wall and do something that you normally wouldn't do. But see, this is so poetic. That's why I love poetry. It's poetry when I speak. And I love speaking in rhyme. And you know what they say? When you speak in a rhyme, You be doing magic all the time. But that's exactly what I say. They don't say that. I say that. So if you find yourself speaking in rhyme, you'll be doing magic all the time. And you'll realize you're being good. Because when you be good and you're being good to you, you're being bad to the system and society. And that's the only way to stay true. That's how you break the fourth wall. That's how you become death. And you start embracing and being more alive than you were before. That's how you break the fourth wall. It's so good to be good because when you're good, you feel like you're the underdog. You feel like you're losing. It's going to feel like everybody else is winning and you're the only one losing. Like Dave Chappelle said, you can be poor in the hood because everybody is poor in the hood. But when you're in the suburbs and you're the poorest person in the suburbs, it feels like it's only happening to you. And I understand that because those are the people that I'm here for. The ones that feel like it's only happening to you. Because I promise you, it might only be happening to you in a specific scenario designed to your life, but it's happening to all of the 144. It used to be 144. Nobody ever gave a thought about it. But as soon as we started raising the frequency, all the ones that aren't of God and all the ones that aren't of the one, they started changing what the 144 means, right? Like how they put the manipulation and they put all this information out there, and you can't tell which is which and who is who, what is AI and what is real. So now they changed the meaning of the 144 and called it a frequency. How do you know if you're truly tapped into that frequency? Because they can manipulate everything. They can manipulate radio waves and change the title to a frequency that you think is a frequency, but then you're listening to 935 hertz because that's the title. But what you're actually playing is 430, 520 hertz because they are able to manipulate shit. And because nobody knows who's in charge of what, who's in control of what things are supposed to feel like or sound like or make you feel like, then we just fall. We fall for the okey doke. We fall for the same old missionary tactics that happened when they started the transatlantic slave trade. We start falling for the government's manipulation. They obviously know we're raising the frequency of the planet, so they have to put people on the and they have to implant people in the spiritual community to make you think that they're so genuine and then they have no flaws. Everybody that I support and that I actually see as a chosen child, they have so much. They have their life is a catastrophe, and then they're standing on motherfucking. They're standing on top of a mountain, and everything is 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 beautiful, right? After that breakthrough point. But before that breakthrough point, you can see every single struggle. You can tell how they changed and how they overcame and the things that happened in their life and how because they're not blocking you out or they're not trying to hide anything or lie to you or misguide you or tell you the sky is fucking black and brown. They just come out and tell you the truth. That's just being good. It's so hard to tell who's actually telling the truth because everybody claims to be telling the truth. Everybody claims to be of God. Now, before it wasn't so cool. It wasn't popular. It wasn't trendy to be it wasn't trendy to be spiritual. You was getting hung and burned at the stake for being spiritual. Now, since they can what you would call since they can regulate spirituality and they can regulate the motherfucking revolution, I've been telling y'all the revolution will be televised because we're doing every single thing on the internet. I've been saying this from day one. The revolution will be televised. From the first time I heard the revolution will not be televised, I was thinking, well, everybody is on the internet and everybody is on TV. Everybody has technology and everybody is able to communicate with everybody. I can communicate with my family that's 5,000 miles away because I have a phone. The revolution will be televised. And now the revolution has been regulated. Spirituality has became a regulation. They're able to they're able to make revenue off of spirituality in the revolution. So don't be asking what happened when you see blatant lies and you think it's pure truth. That's the good in you trying to be bad. That's the it feels good to be good, trying to be it feels good to be bad. Don't be bad, be good. It's going to pay off, especially when you don't think that it's going to pay off. Being good is going to pay off. When you be good and you forget about how good you're being and you're just being and you're being good, you're going to start seeing those payoffs. And because I'm on here speaking what I'm speaking and saying what I'm saying, there's going to be probably 10 times more negativity that I'll now have to deal with because negativity don't like to see positivity. Darkness don't like to see light come. Darkness don't like to see the sun shine. Darkness hates to see the dawn. But this is the dawn of the new earth, and we are the new world order. And we've been the elephants in the room. That's why we always felt awkward or we felt weird, or everybody was looking at us different. Because we are different. We're not from here. We were sent here. And not a lot of us chose this life, but we already know that we have a duty while we are here. Just like how the police officers, when they put on their uniforms and they clock in and they know that they have to uphold the law, we have to uphold life. We have to uphold the truth. And we have to keep the future. Without children, there is no future. And I love every one of y'all children.